Mrs. Laborda, what kind of housing have you been living in?
Manhattanville housing.
What kind of housing is that?
Public housing.
Now, why have they threatened you with eviction?
Because I don't pay the increase of the $10.
Why don't you pay it?
Because I can't afford to pay.
Where does your income usually come from?
From my two daughters. And my two daughters right now are employment and are not working. And everything they don't get, when they work, they don't give me the whole check. And I never work because I'm a sick woman. And I am a widow. So the only support I have is from them, from my two daughters. And I can't afford to pay anymore.
Where will you go if you have to move?
Right now, I don't know where it is.
Miss Benedict, what brought you to Mrs. Laborda's aid?
Well, the Metropolitan Council on Housing is a federation of groups, and one of the groups is the Manhattanville Tenant Association. Mrs. Laborda is a part of that tenant association in public housing. They are affiliated to Metropolitan Council on Housing. That's why we're here, in support of her case.
What exactly is the legal standing of this case now?
Well, the eviction proceedings that have been brought by the New York City Housing Authority will come into court next Thursday. And we are trying to persuade the New York City Housing Authority to review this case and give us a decision today as to what they are going to do in reevaluating the Laborda situation.
Was this sit-in necessary?
It's absolutely unnecessary. All that we've asked is an opportunity to find all the facts. It's a rather complicated situation of a tenant who has two daughters who apparently were working until quite recently and may or may not be working now or in the future, and we want to apply our regular formula for determining the amount of rent that's due. I get the impression that the Manhattanville Tenants Association, or the group that's sitting in, is not so much concerned with the tenant as it is with making an issue of the whole question of the rents that are charged in the developments over which we have no control.
But you would have looked into this anyway.
Of course.
What exactly is the Laborda situation?
Mrs. Laborda is a widow. She is ill, in ill health, and she is not able to work herself. She has two young adult daughters, one of 21 and one of 23. They are the wage earners of the family. One of them, Mrs. Fernandez, is the mother of a 2.5-year-old son. She is separated from her husband. She contributes not only to her mother's household, but of course to the upkeep of her son. The other daughter is 21 and is going to be married in October. It is quite clear that whatever she may earn in the future is not going to come into the family income. Moreover, both the daughters have been out of work.
Is it a standard procedure for the housing authority to regulate rents according to income?
In 21 projects, that have been built by New York State money since 1959. When the tenants moved in from 1959 on, they moved into projects which were called, quotes, fixed rental. That is, the rent was not supposed to go up according to an increase in income. The State Division of Housing has now demanded of the New York City Housing Authority that these 21 projects be put on a sliding scale also. It is causing a great deal of hardship to people who came into buildings understanding what their rent would be and determining that they could afford just that rent in many cases, and many cannot afford the increase that they are now being given.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thank you. Mr. Robbins, when did the Laborda case first come to your attention?
I received a letter at 9 o'clock this morning from the president of the Manhattanville Tenants Association. And before I had an opportunity to even investigate the case or dictate an answer to the letter, I found that there was a group here announcing that it was going to sit in until some decision was made.
Correct, Jay.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.